like me, and you've ever bought or sold real estate, you may have wondered how they arrived at that magical 6% they're going to charge you for selling or buying a house. Those days are about to end. Because of that lawsuit and the settlement of that lawsuit, the real estate industry is about to be transformed. And our speaker today has a real estate company. You think he'd be worried about this? Apparently he's not. He thinks this is going to be great. So please welcome Steve Johnston.
Good morning. Thank you, Tom, for that introduction. Is that working? I want to thank Bill Carlson also for the invite this morning to speak to your group. Can you hear me all right? All right. Also, thank you to my family, friends, and business partners that made it here to support me this morning. And I'd like to can you hear me? Testing. Talk right into it. All right. Thanks. I'd like to recognize two special women in my life real fast. First, my mother is here this morning. I would not be in real estate if it wasn't for her. She was a realtor from the 1980s and her entire career. She just recently retired, so that is why I'm in this lovely business. And also my wife has supported me for the last 20 years in the ups and downs of this real estate business. So. This morning I'm going to speak about a topic I'm very passionate about. I'm going to try to make it as exciting as real estate can be. Can I get a quick show of hands? How many have seen the headlines about realtor commissions going down and the National Association of Realtors settlement? Okay, that's a big majority. All right, how many of you are realtors? All right, very good. All right, so this morning we're going to explore the key points of the class action lawsuit settlement for the National Association of Realtors, also known as NAR, which I'm going to refer to as from here on out. We're going to go over the potential impact of the settlement on the real estate industry, how it benefits the consumer, and what it means if you're a real estate professional. This subject is very personal to me. I've been an advocate for lowering real estate commissions a majority of my professional career. So the plaintiffs in this case were home sellers. They argued that NAR's rules of governing homes listed for sale on the multiple listing service, also known as the MLS, unfairly propped up agent commissions. They believe the rules incentivize agents representing buyers to avoid showing their clients listings where they were offering a lower commission to the buyer's agent. So how it's worked for the past many decades when selling a home, you list your home with a listing agent. They would typically try to get 6%. And to use round math, 3% would go to the listing agent and 3% would go to the buyer agent. That 3% to the buyer agent would go on the MLS for all the agents to see and what the seller is offering the buyer agent before showing that listing. The seller may be offering 3%, 2.5%, 1%, or even possibly $1. And the plaintiffs basically argue they were forced to offer a higher 3% standard co-broke in order to sell their home. But here's the catch. The buyer doesn't pay their agent's fee directly. Instead, the commission is fully paid by the seller as part of their closing costs. This amounts to a form of antitrust, allegedly reducing competition and pushing up commissions higher than services they warrant. And late last year, a federal jury ruled that NAR and major real estate brokerages had conspired to artificially inflate real estate commissions. NAR and the brokerages were ordered to pay damages of nearly $1.8 billion. The verdict allowed the court to issue treble damages, which means they could have reached more than $5 billion. However, since that verdict, there have been over 20 copycat lawsuits, spurring a majority of the largest real estate brokerages in the nation to settle, along with NAR, for a combined total of approaching $940 million, and that'll continue to grow. While NAR agreed to settle the suits against it, the group has made it very clear it denies any wrongdoing in connection with its MLS rules or compensation. Furthermore, included in the NAR settlement, and so far the biggest concession of the settlement, is that the buyer co-broke field will be eliminated from the MLS in August. So no longer will realtors be able to see how much the seller is offering the buyer agent commission through the MLS. Additionally, all buyers agents must mandate a buyer agency agreement prior to representing a buyer, outlining an agreement to the fees and commissions charged for their services prior to the engagement. The settlement has sent shockwaves through the real estate industry. Most agents are in disbelief, saying that it will be business as usual. I disagree with that position and believe this settlement will have major implications for the future of real estate and forever will change the industry. And I believe it's about time. Like I previously mentioned, I've spent the majority of my professional career in real estate fighting for lowering commissions for consumers. I've experienced firsthand how the NAR policy of clear cooperation perpetuates higher commissions. In the early 2000s, I founded a real estate company called Home Discovery, and we offered 2% commissions. And being a young entrepreneur, I thought I would take on the good old boy real estate cartel. The internet was fairly new then, and the #1 site to see listings was Realtor.com. So in order to get your listings on Realtor.com, you had to put them in the MLS. So we, Home Discovery, were forced to join the Realtor Association and the MLS here in Tampa and across the state if we wanted our listings on Realtor.com. Since we were advertising 2% commissions total, we did not want to offer a co-broke to the buyer's agent. The real estate market was hot then, and that time period, everything was selling within days. The MLS Association would not allow us to put 0 as the co-broke, so we put $2 as the co-broke. And that's when the cartel machine started working against us. Realtors already didn't care for us because our 2% advertisements, but then they would call in and ask if the $2 co-broke was a mistake. And we just told them it was not, and they could place an offer on our listing with their compensation included. All day long, we would get agents calling in, yelling at us, voicemails, emails, complaints to the association, complaints to the state, all because the co-broke didn't meet the standard of around 3%. The agents were relentless. They would schedule showings with our sellers just to get a chance to badmouth them directly. They would key our cars, break our company car windows, they stole our for sale signs. We even had a crazy tell us he was going to torpedo our headquarters, and we had to bring in the FBI. Our main investor was Chris Sullivan, the founder of Outback, and real estate agents would actually write him letters stating they were going to boycott his restaurant chains. Home Discovery did not survive the real estate crash or the Great Recession of 2008. However, my biggest takeaway was that you must play within the rules of the billion-dollar cartel. Because in order to sell houses, you needed cooperation in real estate. And real estate agents, if they didn't like you, they would boycott you. So when we started our current company, Ideal Agent, we had to address the flaws of Home Discovery and built Ideal Agent within NAR rules of cooperation. So today, Ideal Agent enlists top 1% agents across the nation to sell homes for our home sellers for as low as 2%. The agents represent top brokerages across the nation, and their sign goes in the yard and on the listing. So it makes it impossible to boycott our listings. Our improved business model is working. We've sold over 23,000 homes across the nation with $8.8 billion. We have 6,300 5-star reviews and an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. But we had to play by NAR's rules to be successful. So what's the future look like in the industry post-settlement? What agents aren't grasping is that ultimately they're the ones paying the billions of dollars in settlement money through fees, dues, splits to NAR, the MLS, local and state associations, and their brokerages. We will see roughly 40 to 50% of the agents leave the industry over the next 2 years, which adds even more pressure for the brokerages and associations to raise fees. Just a couple weeks ago, the National Association of Realtors removed a decade's worth of agent counts and census from their website, no longer making it public how many members are in the organization. That should be an obvious sign of what's to come. All of these entities will soon start to consolidate. They must to survive. Just a few weeks ago, right in our own backyard, the Greater Tampa Realtor Association and the Pinellas Realtor Organization announced they will be merging. You will see more and more of this across the state and nation. Quite frankly, a national or state MLS would be a win for the industry, standardizing data and technology. I think we will see the possibility of this much sooner because it's the only way NAR survives. Or maybe it's time for a new organization to lead the industry. For brokerages, which were already operating on razor-thin margins, many unprofitable year over year, we will see massive consolidation here. And the winners will be the newer brokerages, the virtual ones without brick and mortar, such as EXP and Real, because they can offer lower fees and splits. But with upwards of 50% of agents leaving the industry, they will have to make it up somewhere, and ultimately, that means the remaining agents are going to pay more. I also think we'll see a new trend where large teams just become their own brokerage to escape the increase in cost. For buyer agents, your job just became a whole lot more difficult. Gone are the days of easy money. Buyers, for the most part, didn't realize they were paying commissions. They thought the representation was free, and in many cases, they were told so by the buyer agents. Buyers certainly will have more pause when they sit down and they are asked to sign the buyer agency agreement, outlining their services, what it will cost. I think things really change when they ask 3% on a $500,000 house or a $1 million house, and the buyers will start questioning their value. Does it really cost $15,000 to $30,000 to help me purchase this home? This will weed out the weekend warriors that join the industry for a quick buck, and that's why I believe this settlement will be good for the industry. 50% of the realtors closed 0 to 1 transactions last year. It'll be too costly and too difficult for them to remain in the industry post-settlement. For listing agents, this will be a windfall for top agents and team with the mass exodus of agents leaving the industry. It means more transactions go to fewer agents. Yes, commissions will go down, mostly on the buyer side. However, average income for realtors goes way up. Fewer agents doing more transactions. Guess what? This is not 1980 anymore. The industry is way more efficient with advancements in technologies. I have an agent in Boise, Idaho that does 130 transactions a year with 0 help. Why are agents still charging 5 to 6%? Only because of the current NAR's policy of clear cooperation. Economics teaches us more agents would mean more competition equals lower commissions, but not in the case of real estate commission. And that right there shows you how the whole system in place artificially inflates commission and keeps them there. In the long run, the new rules that will go into effect in August is a win for top agents and the consumer. It elevates and creates a more professional industry. This is a tremendous opportunity in real estate to adapt and change. For ideal agents, this is a big win for us as well. In fact, we built the business model around top agents and teams. 95% of our business is on the seller side, and we've already lowered commissions for these top agents. Listings have always been the gold in the real estate industry. Now they are the diamonds. This settlement produces a huge opportunity for us where we already have a foundation to build upon for the new era of real estate we're about to encounter. Thank you.